In the last draft, I had 3 Chelsea at the back. I kept hold of Cancelo, and I was definitely free hitting in game week 30. But because of the FA Cup results, it's all changed. By just making 3 big transfers, I won't be free hitting in 30. So let's have a look at the latest draft, the one that I'm currently leaning towards, and why I'm not going to be free hitting in game week 30. Let's go straight into it. You can see right now, there's 2 changes in defense and there's 1 change up front. But Thiago Silva has gone out for Romero at Spurs, and White has come in at the back for Cancelo. And up front, Lacazette has come in for Weghorst. Let's explain why I've made those moves. So why have I gone off triple Chelsea? Well, because of the FA Cup results, right now, the future transfers have remained the same. So game week 29, Saka should be coming in for Coutinho. And game week 30, originally my plan was Maddison to come in for Willock, which gives me Coutinho plays in 30, but he goes out. Game week 30 player comes in, and Willock comes in as well. Now, by just changing a Chelsea player and a Cancelo, which I was possibly going to do anyway with Cancelo because he doesn't have any doubles and he blanks in 30, and I can always buy him back. People will not sell him because they don't want to pay more to get him back, but if you're desperate to get Cancelo back, you just pay the extra money. But without any doubles, no game in game week 30, and the fact he's not going to play for me in game week 28 anyway because he's against Manchester United and he doesn't double, and in game week 29 he doesn't double as well, I thought, well, if I just make those 2 transfers in defense, take out Silva, who does double now but doesn't play in 30, take out Cancelo, who doesn't play in 30 and he doesn't double, put in a player from Arsenal and a player from Spurs, and I've got players that not only double but also play in game week 30. And by taking out Weghorst, who I wasn't keen on anyway because Burnley just are not a particularly great attacking side or goal scoring side, and putting in Lacazette, who plays for Arsenal, who doubles and plays in 30, I'm now left with, if I bring in Saka and bring in Maddison, I have 9 players for game week 30 without any hits. So even if I fancy taking a hit, which I don't really, I'll at least have 9 players going into game week 30, which means I can keep that free hit for a big double game week where I can just go out there and I can just get 11 double game week players if the big double is in game week 33 or game week 36, and just similar to what I did in game week 26, have 11 double game week players. By doing this as well, I've also given myself a chance to bench boost in 29. Now, I don't want to say get the chip out of the way because I usually don't think that's a very good argument. I'll have a good team for game week 29 to bench boost, which means after game week 29, I don't have to leave any money on the bench anymore. So I can take an 8.3 million Lacazette or a 7.5 Jimenez if I don't want to play with 2 or 3 forwards anymore, put that all the way down to a non-playing 4.4 forward, and then I've got a few more million to pump into my first team. I don't have to keep a very thick 15-man squad anymore. I can also put Dubravka down to Foster for 0.3. That's not as much worth it. But if I take a midfielder, or I take one of my forwards, or I take one of my defenders, and I can pump them all the way down, then I don't have to worry about having 15 playing players anymore because I've already played my bench boost. Another reason as well why I specifically chose one defender from Spurs and one defender from Arsenal is I have mentioned it on videos and on the stream I did on Fantasy Football Scout on Monday, the fact that Spurs and Arsenal are top of the fixture ticker from now until the end of the season, which basically means they have the nicest fixtures for the final 10 game weeks. And Spurs still have a couple of games, and Arsenal have a game or two as well to make up, and they play in game week 30. So I can actually visually show you that the fact that bringing in one Spurs defender and one Arsenal defender, for game week 28, you can see I'll put the Arsenal boys on the bench. Romero is on there as well, along with Schmeichel. That would be a nice bench boost, but of course you can't play 2 chips at the same time. And I've got plenty of doublers. But by bringing in 2 more Arsenal players into my side, if we jump forward to game week 29, then I'm able to show you guys this. So I would be bench boosting Schmeichel against Arsenal, which I know isn't fantastic, but also Ramsey against West Ham isn't too bad, and I'm benching double Chelsea defense at home to Newcastle. Now that's a strong bench. Schmeichel, Rudiger and James. Even Ramsey has been doing well for Aston Villa so far, and West Ham look like they're pretty vulnerable recently. But you look at my starting 11, I've got lots of double game week players, and if I play my bench boost now in game week 29, I'm done. I don't have to have three good playing defenders anymore, and I've still got, by doing it this way, a free hit. So if I jump from 30 where I would free hit, now I don't have to, because if I've made those transfers, like I said, Saka coming in for Coutinho and Maddison coming in for Willock, this is what I would be looking at without any hits for game week 30. So this is why I'm thinking, if I just go into one game week with just 9 players, in a game week where lots of people will either take hits or use their free hit or do the same and go out with 6 or 7 players, I think me going out for one game week with 9, but then saving that free hit for a big double game week where I'll just smash 11 double game week players, that makes up for not having a full 11 for one single game week. So 9 for one game week, but then in the future 22 in a free hit. 22 fixtures in one game week, I think is a sacrifice that I'm willing to make. I haven't hit make transfers just yet because I could just do it for Thiago Silva. There's no money there, but the Cancelo one, I'm still considering that. Do I keep him as a shield? I know he doesn't have any double game weeks, and I've said we sometimes get blinded by double game weeks and we throw them all in there, even though a single game week player will have a good opportunity. But just the fact that Cancelo doesn't double at all over the next few game weeks and he blanks in 30 just makes him sellable for me. And I've said before, there are some players out there, like if you want to get Robertson in there instead of Cancelo, I think that's a good call. But it's also for the greater good, for the rest of the team. The fact that I can have a couple of players doubling over a Cancelo who singles and blanks, I think it is worth taking that risk. And I've said before, I know he's highly owned. He's 45% plus owned, but I'm either going to attack. I'm 85,000 ranked now, so I'm either going to attack and push for top 50, top 30, top 20,000, or I'm going to drop out of the 100k. But that's the way that I play the game. I'm going to attack. I'm going to try and spread my odds a little bit, play more games with double game week fixtures, and see where it takes me, because one man doesn't make your whole entire starting 11. So this is how I'm looking to set up right now. I'm obviously waiting for team news as well. That's another reason I haven't pressed the button just yet, because I don't want to bring in Romero and White and then we find out, oh, Man City are randomly going to double. So I'm going to leave this till deadline. But I've tried tinkering around by putting Kane in there. And I've said this before. If I put Kane in there for Jimenez, the rest of my team just suffers just too much, and that actually will force me to free hit because I'll have to sell some of my double game week players there. Can't imagine this changing too much. The only reason I'm not going to be triple Chelsea is just by sacrificing Cancelo, who's on my bench anyway, and sacrificing one of my 3 Chelsea players. I would have been excited to try that tactic. Again, one man doesn't make a team. If I get rid of one Chelsea defender for a Spurs or Arsenal defender, and that means I can save a free hit chip to use on 11 double game week players, again, that's just a sacrifice. That's the gamble that I'm going to make there. Final point I just want to say as well is the final reason why I've gone for Arsenal, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Spurs in my defense. And the setup that I've got right now, a few Arsenal, few Chelsea, there's a couple of reasons. The first one is they are the ones that are going to be fighting for Champions League football. They're going to still be pushing, and the quality is there. I'm not mixing it up with mid-table teams or relegation scrapping teams. But the other part is, if I keep going through the weeks on live FPL, let's say I go to game week 31, every single game week here, you can see a sea of green on my fixtures, and I'm benching players, even White with a good fixture. Having Romero and White, or Arsenal and Spurs with Chelsea and Liverpool defense, that means that without any transfers, if you force me to keep this team right now for the whole rest of the season, so you give me 2 more transfers, you let me do Willock to Maddison, and you let me do Coutinho to Saka. If you force me, then you cannot make any more transfers. Actually, every single game week, even jump to game week 36, and you have a look at the team that I'll have to play every single game week. Even if I bench Son, for example, I'll always have a starting 11 with 10 of my 11 players having pretty decent fixtures, or from players that play in a top 4 side. That means every single game week I have, so this would be game week 37, I benched the 2 Chelsea guys and benched Broja. Again, a sea of green fixtures in my starting 11. So that means I've still got 1.4 million in the bank, and I can use every single free transfer. I can either keep banking them, I can use them if I have injuries or suspensions, or, importantly, I can use them to attack every single game week. I can just take out the one weakest player in my starting 11 and put the possibly strongest one for the next 1 or 2 game weeks. So it means that by saving my free hit in 30, I can use that in a big double. I just suffer for one game week by just having 9 players instead of 11. I can keep the the same team for the whole rest of the season, I'd be pretty happy because they've all got good fixtures and they play for good teams. And that also means that every single free transfer I have can be made in an attacking sense. I can bring in who I think will be the star of that game week, or a player who plays for the team who I think will be dominant in that game week. So that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, maybe consider leaving a like and subscribing if you are new. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the latest draft. I am genuinely gutted to get rid of the Chelsea player, but again, one player doesn't make a team, and by having one Spurs and one Arsenal, I'm pretty set for the rest of the season, and I can save a free hit, attack with that free hit in a double game week, and I can attack with every single free transfer. Let me know the players that you're targeting and what is your end of season chip strategy plan and the players that you are going to be targeting for the next few weeks. Are you going to attack these doubles? Are you going to just sort of have a few doubles in one week, a few in the next, or are you just going to ignore it and just stick with single game week players? Let me know in the comments below, guys, and as always, have a good one.